Everything is fine. Now such a person who has developed this strong individuality and has started taking charge of his life will not like to hand over the charge to a god. Find it difficult, understand. Or to a god man, so-called god man. You cannot charge, you cannot give up your charge. That is an intelligent person, before he understands, he shall find out whether this teaching, whether the person really makes me independent or dependent on him. This is where comes your viveka, your discrimination. Before you give yourself up to a teacher, first find out, in the process of your learning, are you becoming independent or dependent? If you are becoming independent, you happily enjoy it. If in the process you are becoming dependent, run, because so far you have been dependent on so many things. Okay, the person who is not prepared for this knowledge, understand, fragile individuality, neither idhar ki na udhar ki, neither this side nor that side, cannot be self-reliant, cannot be self-reliant and cannot depend on God or something. Suppose such a person depends on you, and you say, comes to the learning and you tell him, be independent. The person doesn't like it. Why? Because he wants to depend. And please understand, the moment somebody wants to depend upon you, you know what is the trouble? Then the person who is dependent upon must live according to the expectation of the person who is depending. Devotees' expectations to be fulfilled. I shall worship you if only you starve every Saturday, Sunday. You understand how you get chained, imprisoned by the devotees' expectations. The devotee shall expect, worship you, but you should not be putting on fancy dress. You should be with one kopina. Because that person wants to worship renunciation. He wants to worship, if you should be very doing puja 10 hours a day. He should be worshipping if you are a person who is a vegetarian. He should be worshipping if you are a person who simply very simple life. Because you must fulfill the other person's expectations of being religious. You know what a hassle it is? What a hassle it is. And some people, those who are professionally religious people, they either succumb to that or pretend to be that way. Why? They don't want to lose the donkeys. That is where devotees galore, sitting down around. Fulfill my expectations. Or suppose the person does some miracles, he will have another 100,000 people. Why? Because maybe one day he will give it to me. You have been waiting for a longest time. If you believe in God, why don't you say directly he shall fulfill it? Why should this man will fulfill your expectation? But where is that intelligence? The person doesn't have that strength in himself to depend directly on God, whatever it is. But he depends on a person. Understand the difficulties. This individuality is such a little mystery, I comes up. So ask yourself the question, what type of person you are? Are you really interested in absolutely independent, self-reliance, self-confident? And self-confident does not mean depending on a relative self. Understand? Depending on your money, job, relationship, things. If you want to depend on, listen carefully, if you are depending on those things, you better depend upon God, God of the highest type, that which is all-pervasive, listen carefully. Or else, if you depend on your education, your money, you shall be depending on a God which is lesser God. If you depend upon God, the truth, Then what is the God I should depend upon? Listen carefully. What is the God I should depend upon? Who shall swallow my individuality? As in self-confidence means, listen carefully, self-confidence means ultimately being with yourself the absolute. Confidence in God means who should swallow my individuality? Who can take away everything with me? So, such a God who is all-inclusive, not one exclusive. An exclusive God cannot take you completely. Why? You cannot even believe that He can take you completely. Why? Because He is separate, you are separate. Are you getting that point, please? He is separate, I am separate. So how can He take me? I have been separate all the time. So separation is the name of the game. So He is to be worshipped and I have to be worshipping. Like somebody made a very beautiful joke. Another person went on praying God. And then, he was in danger. He go to a holy place and there is nobody except him. So he feels very comfortable. Appa, the crowd is not there. Then whisper to God in that holy place, oh God, now I am alone, you are alone. Nobody else is there. Between the body, so nice that I don't offend you anymore. That is the type of faith people have, as though they can offend God also. So he said, please see to it that I don't offend you anymore. Then again a voice boomed. Everybody asked the same type of thing. But son, if I go on granting everybody this one, whom shall I forgive? If I grant everybody this, who is that they should not be able to offend me, then whom am I going to forgive? My job is gone. You are getting that point, please? What type of God I should rely upon? If it will be a God, it will be an all-inclusive God who can take away my load. Understand? Saguna Brahma Upasana, Ishvara. If the worship, listen carefully, if your belief or worship of a God or belief of a God invokes in you a believer or a devotee for the rest of your life, it is confirming the duality and separation. Therefore, there shall be no release. Are you getting that point? It's like telling that person is very rich. I am so poor. I am humble follower of that man. Will you be one with the leader? Ajivin, to be self-reliant, you have to discover a self which is absolute. To believe in a God, you must find a God which is all-inclusive. Or else, individuality cannot be sacrificed.